Guys, I wasn't expecting that in this episode. I was expecting some just like normal fight. Hello, my friends. My camera's really far forward. So, we're about to dive into episode 10 of My Hero Academia. We experienced one of the best episodes of this first half of the season, episode 9. It was absolutely mind-blowing, amazing. Bakugo, brought his A game and killed it. Barely any damage. His team was okay. No one got seriously hurt. They captured them super quickly. They just boom, 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 took him down. That was so good. I'm so proud of Bakugo and his growth. And his growth was very quiet, kind of subtle, over the course of this series. And I love it. I'm here for it. I'm so proud of him. But now we're about to dive into a kind of a rematch of sorts, where Shinso, where Midoriya, Deku's team is going to go against the Class B team, and they have not only Monoma, I think, who is a little nuts, but just really enthusiastic, but in his own kind of crazy way. But they have basically a very well-rounded team in Class B, and a very not-so-well-rounded team, not that great of a team in Class A, actually. So my guess is actually that they're going to lose that fight. Class A is going to lose, and they're going to drag it over 2 episodes, I'm pretty sure. But I think Class A, I think it's going to lose. I don't know what's going to happen. One for All is acting up really weirdly and kind of crazily, and so we don't know how that's going to work out, especially since kind of this being aware of the past holders has kind of kicked off with Shinso, so we don't know if it's going to happen again. Shinso also has a team with him. He's grown a lot. He also has his own kind of support that he can kind of do some cool stuff with. So these fights kind of went the direction I was expecting, where I thought Bakugo was going to win, and then I figured that some cool stuff was going to happen with the Shinsu versus Deku and their teams fight, but I figured that they were going to lose. So which is kind of interesting, because it was like win-loss, tie, win-loss. That's how I was expecting it to go, but who knows what this is. Who knows what'll happen, but I still think Class A is gonna lose. That's my guess. Oh, my jaw's hurting. Is there anything else to add? The only thing I will add is that, again, sorry these episodes are late, just family needed to use the computer, and this is the only desktop, and it's mine, they're using it too sometimes. But one more thing is that, for those of you who have missed it, I've been talking about for a while now. I was going to wait to get a Patreon when I had 10,000 subscribers. I thought that was worth it then. But certain particular things are coming up with my family that made me realize, okay, no, I need to maybe do it sooner than later, and because you never know what's going to happen, especially with my state and kind of it's being really stupid. Sometimes we host a really big concert event, usually during the summer, but it's happening this fall. Well, once that event happens, then the state has no reason to kind of be a little bit more open on the restrictions. So I'm expecting, even though they really shouldn't, because it's not as deadly as people are trying to make it out to be. They're still kind of being stupid about this. My argument would be sensible, but all at the same time, these shutdowns they're just nonsensical. They don't make any sense. Anyway, there's a suspicion that when the concert is over, series is over, my state's going to lose its mind. So there's a very good chance that if it does do certain mandates, that I'm just not going to follow those mandates, and I'm going to be kind of stuck. And so my thought would be that, I'm just going to, do YouTube full time, because then I don't have to be out and about, basically. But anyway, it's such a long-winded way of saying my family is going through some stuff right now. I want to be prepared financially for it, so they kind of be less of a burden for my family, kind of help ease their burdens. And I thought a Patreon would be really helpful actually for that. I also really do enjoy this. I just don't always have the time for it. So the idea is that the soonest it would happen would be the November of this year, 2021. Right now I'm working through a business model. I'm getting more of it figured out. I like the idea of a very sensible 1-3-5 tier, because anything more than that I think would just be ridiculous. Especially because I am making content based on other people's content, so I didn't feel like it doesn't feel really right to make a lot of money based off that. Anything else to add? No, that's kind of it. Yeah, just expect more announcements the closer we get to November. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen in November, but it might happen then. Just expect more, announcements basically, and keep an eye out for some things, and I'll be making those announcements and kind of give a clarification of what's gonna change, what's gonna stay the same on YouTube per se, and then what is going to be what you can access via Patreon, stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. But again, as soon as it would happen in November, if it happens then, but I would say definitely by January maybe. And then who knows how that'll affect things moving forward for grad school. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I blathered on, actually not that long for me. Let's dive right in. He did such a good job. Such a good job. And if you look really closely, the people who caused the most damage were Class B. That was really cool. They did a really good job. That was such a strong team. Look at that derpy face that he has. Again, they have a strong team. Like a well-balanced team against this one. You know how to expect it. I can't believe, like, Mango-wise, they're still only, like, through their first year. Like, dang. A part of me is like, that's really cool. That's a lot of material to work off. But the other part of me is just like, can we move this a little faster? Can you, like, can we do some time jumps? Do we have to focus every summer and spring and winter? Can we, like, skip ahead, like, hey, quiet summer, nothing happened, let's move on. Like, it's okay to have those. For any of you worried that for Patreon, if and when it happens, that the anime would no longer be accessed this way, via this PIP version, if you're watching the PIP version, no, that would still exist. I think what Tubu does is, like, you get it a week early, and with anime, I could do that. I might be able to do it with the live action shows too, because then I would be able to do, the idea is that the live action would take place that week it came out, and then the YouTube version would come out a week after that. So I think some people do that. I don't know, that one's still kind of up in the air. But I could do a week early for the anime stuff. I'm still trying to figure out, like, postings and things like that, but I have some plans. Oh, who's that one? Who are they talking about? Oh, it is him. It is all from one. Oh, I forgot about that one. They're right. It's crazy. How many quirks does he have in his body that he knows what's happening? That's so gross. He has no eyes. But it's like maybe he. Vocazier! Vocazier! Is that his voice? Gran Torino. You're already starting already? I always forget these people exist until I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I really would like to see a young Gran Torino just to see if he was always that short. Focus. This is really important stuff here. Oh, he did used to be taller and bigger. So he did used to be much taller and bigger. That's why his costume's so wrinkly on him. Someday. So it's almost like the original inhabitor of One For All, the little brother. Yeah, for sure. It has been waiting. No, it kind of had an understanding of the power transferings to some degree. Oh, his background. Oh, the team split up. Okay. The type that make them seem like, yeah, they should be villains. That's what we admire. It's nice to see kind of a quiet Monoma. I kind of like his outfit though. Like his. Is it? Jiro, why is she telling that? Like how you can hear their shoes. I don't know. It's a little thing like that. It's cute. There we go. There's the first one. I know I like stopped talking about certain stuff. I'll get back to it. You could trust them and rely on them. Oh, I bet it's a timer on quirks. If he moves, he might lead them as friends to. Ooh, he's playing mind games with them. He has the timer, but each of those timers relate to a quirk that he has. Focus on him, buddy boy. Yeah, it's a game. He's trying to get him. That's hard. Good for him. Phantom Thief. Can't use two at the same time. This is cool. Oh, that's so cool! This is actually really cool. This is a really cool fight. So she's our defense squad. Why is her hero name Emily? To wave an average person. And she can. Ooh, wow, they are well balanced team. She can. I like how so many of them have. Oh, she has to release as well, just very similarly to Uraka. Jeez. Twin impact. Oh, so it's like oh, that's so odd but fascinating. Dang, also calling big discussion. You probably shouldn't so square, because probably oh, that's not good. What the heck? That's so all for one. It's attacking everything. Aizawa picked up on it, but he wasn't sure. He was. This is something awful and new. All Might mention that the power that One for All is, it builds as it moves from person to person to person. It's kind of a reverse of, this might be a little nerdy and silly, but I'm watching anime, of course. There is a book, it's an unofficial book, but it is a book called Quantum Physics of the Buffyverse. It's not official, wasn't produced by Joss Whedon, someone just did analyze the show and episodes. They talked about, in terms of the physics, when the power of the original Slayer moved from Slayer to Slayer to Slayer, the power grew less and less and less. It was still pretty amazing, but the original power apparently was very demonic. So her strength, her abilities were just even very close to a demon in that show than what it became by the time it reached Buffy. And then in some ways it was kind of split with Faith, and then there was the potential Slayer, so it's kind of a nut job craziness there in terms of like transference of energy. With this one, it's very different. It's building, it's building, it's building. And I'm sure when it was transferred to a person with already had a quirk, there was more and more building there. Now, I guess the good thing is that because I guess because Toshinori or All Might was quirkless, like Deku maybe didn't build as much, or maybe it builds longer someone has it. I'm not quite certain, because by the time Deku got Alt One for All, not only did he have all these people who held it, but also All Might had that power for a very long time. It seems, and so it's building, it's building, it's building, and now he talked about how important it is to make sure his body was prepared for the quirk because it could really destroy him, and he didn't. He was still getting hurt. But now it's reached this new point where there's now this more powers coming out. Again, it's only 20%. He's never really gone beyond that. And his body can't hold it in. He just can't. Like mass-wise, because he's a small dude. But also I think there's just too much. And now it's coming out and just kind of attacking. So he can't hold it all in. The vessel's too weak or too small for the power. And my brother had said, he didn't say what it was, but he said that the manga goes really weird recently. I'm guessing whatever weird direction it goes has to do with what we're seeing now. Which this poor Deku being too much power, uncontrolled, and maybe even viewing himself so unsafe and so dangerous that he actually removes himself from everybody else. I can see that happening too. Because he doesn't want people to worry about him. He doesn't want people to get hurt. And if he thinks that if this keeps going on, if he thinks he's a danger to his classmates and others, he might remove himself. So we'll see how that goes. But I think Shinso is going to have to man up and kind of move forward and stop what's happening. Because I'm not saying anything. But yo, your Rocket coming in clutch and coming in trying to save the day. She's so cute. Including her parents, who will feel happy and maybe didn't look tired. You know, it's funny, even though she wasn't supposed to, she was still using her quirk to help others. And this is why this solidifies Uraraka as best girl for Deku. Gosh, it's gonna be crazy. Oh, he's in that world again. The time is right. It's manifested. He's kind of like Bakugo and Kirishima. Do your best. He's so meanly. Very Avatarish. Was my quirk? I was wondering if we're gonna actually experience actual part of the quirks of people who had quirks when they got one for all. And the cultivated power. Ooh. This feels really nice after a very sad dramatic moment. Black Whip. Oh, cool. You looking at it was the first one? What else is coming his way? Which means it's insanely powerful and almost out of control. Ooh, I like that. Controlling your heart. But he wants it to be a righteous anger. An anger against evil. But you have to control your heart. He has to lead it. It has. Ooh, I like this. This is fun. 6 more cards! Whereas with Toshinori, it was just pure power. You will complete one for all. Oh, oh honey baby. That dude's gonna be his ally. He's gonna keep him around more. Now at the time. Oh, he's like, screw this. Oh, wow. Dramatic moment. They're just like, nope, we're still gonna fight. What about... This is... Oh, that's a great face. Oh my gosh. She has to be controlled. Oh, Shinso, I forgot he had that. Alright. Watch. I know, he's so quick that he has to run like a normal person. You know what? I think this is also him putting trust in Shinso, that Shinso can take care of what's about to happen. Because he kind of did. I also like the fact that Shinso just, you know, he didn't use his machine, he just used his voice. Because that was the last time he used when he faced Midoriya. So he's like, no, I'm not going to use my cool stuff right now. My hair's being weird. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to just use my voice and just in desperation. But I like how Uraraka just, like, got in there. And, like, she was like, who takes care of them? And I'm just like, oh, okay, she's best girl for him. That's okay. I know people, like, ship her and, like, Bakugo. I think that could be a fun one. That could work, too. Someone made a really good point that a lot of times in Japanese high schools, there's a rule about no dating, which I find very fascinating. I think sometimes private schools might do that. In the States, maybe, but even then, not so much. There's really no rule against not dating. Which is probably why there's a lot of drama. Anyway, which is probably why they don't do dating. That's why they have no dating in high schools. I'm sure there are kids who break the rules, but whatever. But that's why. Anyway, and that moment there, I think because of just how she, I don't know. I think she would be best girl for Deku. But I also get like why people would ship her with like Bakugo or anyone else. Because she is such a sweet softie, and she's very like hyper aware of taking care of the boys. Because the boys they taken care of, you know. This episode was crazy. It did get out of control. So now we're coming back into kind of a normal part. Baku's still watching. Ooh, we're gonna have a really cool Aizawa Shinsu moment. I'm excited for that one. Or maybe some background to like his training. So we're getting that a little bit, like a little taste of everybody, which is really nice. This episode was strong. Y'all, this episode is strong. Alrighty, my friends, I'm keeping this on because my ears being weird. As I prep for the next reaction, because I'm gonna watch 10 and 11 back to back, definitely. This episode was amazing. Some of the earlier episodes weren't super strong. There was a couple episodes that were pretty weak, actually. I wasn't very impressed with. Last episode was phenomenal and fun and enjoyable to watch and so fast paced. It was such a good time. This episode was like, oh my god. Dang, I was not expecting that at all, just with like the insanity. But I like this moment of like that we got with this other holder. And I was thinking about that too, and I like how we got confirmation that some of the holders of One for All had their own quirks already. And they just, as a person, was viewed as someone worthy of holding a One for All. Now we know again that All Might, Toshinori, and Deku were quirkless, which kind of, I guess, is part of the reason why maybe One for All wasn't where it needed to be when it was with Toshinori. But I guess with being with him for so long and how it manifested in him, it kind of built up power. It was just pure raw power. That's really what it was with All Might. And that power allowed him to be speed and jump really high. But with Deku, I guess with his biology and how it's manifesting in him and kind of doing the electricity and sort of the full cowling aspect and how he approaches the quirk, the building up with the power in addition to those previous quirks. His body is now reaching this point where it's like, okay, now that we've reached the point where you can handle a certain level of power, well, now it's time for all the quirks that were previously part of One for All to come out and about. And so my guess is the people he can see very clearly are the people who are more strongly spiritually connected to One for All, whereas the people who were a little fuzzy were the ones that weren't. It's not just Toshinori. I think there's two others who are kind of hard to see. So he has, I guess, after this one, Black Web, he has 6 more quirks coming his way, and who knows what they are. It's gonna be crazy because not only are they juiced up, but One for All, it's in itself a power building and transferring quirk. But he's going to have his quirks interacting with each other, and that might cause some havoc onto his little mind and little heart. That's why he said you have to control your heart, because anger is good. It's good to have like righteous anger and to be mad and trying to save the day and stop the bad guy. Those are good things. To use anger in a very constructive way, but that's why he's trying to tell him to control his heart. It's like you have to be aware that your emotions can really make One for All and make certain quirks just be a bit too much, a little bit out of control. So you have to learn to lead your heart with that brain of his, to be able to, fight without causing major damage, not only to the scene but to his teammates as well. That's really cool. I do love, and it's again very Avatar-ish. I do love these kind of connections to the spiritual holders. I do really like that. In the Western world, as it's become more secular and has kind of divorced itself from the spiritual, this whole pagan New Age thing that's coming through, that's been coming through for a while actually, been building and building and building, still doesn't give people the ability to really understand what's going on here, and neither would I, unless my brother like explained certain cultural aspects of Japan. Even Japan is becoming more secular. There's still an understanding of the spirituality that once existed. And so what I'm trying to get at is that when you have storylines like this that have a spiritual aspect, like with One for All, it's not just a power connection, there's a spiritual aspect of it as well. When you have really weird fate things, like with the Red String of Fate, with some of, like, for instance, like, I always look at Lake House. It's a weird movie, and when my mom and I learned that it was actually previously based on a Korean film, then we were like, oh, now it makes sense, because that whole weird time and the fate and that thing, for us it made more sense if you put it into the context of Korea. This makes sense in the context of Japan. There are certain things that when you remove it from its cultural origin, you're looking at it going, what the frick am I watching? This is really weird. Like, it's fascinating, but it's also like, it doesn't make sense. But when you realize, oh, this makes sense because when you put it back into its culture of origin, then you're like, oh, that makes more sense. I remember people were talking about probably Netflix wanting to do a live action remake of that really cool movie with the girl and the boy switching bodies. I forget the name. I did a reaction to it. Go check it out. Your Name? I think it's the English translation. Yes, Your Name. Sugar Cookie. I was talking about there are certain, first of all, but they really don't need to do that. Why do you need to do that? But it's Netflix. They're trying to compete with anime. They're not doing a good job of it. They keep making anime remakes. They keep sucking at it. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. The point is that if they did it, they can't put it in a purely American. Like, I don't know. It just feels like it would make more sense if they put it. I don't know. There are just certain things that if you remove a mythos and from a certain culture and try to use it applied to a different culture, what is my computer doing? It stops making sense. It's still weird, but it does, like, I don't know. I'm blathering now. Anyway, this is cool. I like this. I'm enjoying this. This episode was fire. I'm so proud of Shinso. I can't wait for him to move forward. I keep forgetting how deep his voice is. This is really cool. Thank you so much for watching. Hear me blather on. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies, and I'll see you next time.